Hey, good morning. I wanted to talk about a topic a question that I usually get from sellers who are about to go on the market or kind of wondering what their business is worth. My name's Brooke Harden. I'm a business broker in Massachusetts, and I work with people and represent them to sell their business and get them a great offer and onto their next adventure. So cash reporting and not cash reporting in a business is a very common question I get. And the topic that I'll usually start with on this is just talking about the different ways of running your business, right? Like the way you're going to run your business when you're not selling is very different than the way you're going to run your business while you're selling. So when you're not selling, maybe, you want to decrease the tax expenses as much as possible, right? So you're trying to limit profitability with a couple different tax strategies. We often see the sellers working with their accountants with. So the goal in that scenario is to make sure that you're paying as little taxes as possible. Now, when you are selling the business, things are a little different. Buyers are going to want to see what's going on in the business. So we need to be, or should be, right, a little bit more transparent. And the thing to think about with that is that buyers, they just can't pay you for what they can't see. So, when we work with sellers and start the process out, we're, you know, going through the numbers and just having some conversations with you as a seller and just trying to understand, where's where and what's what. And, it's not that buyers, they care how you're running your business at all, but they just want to understand it. So that's usually what we'll start the conversation with cash reporting or not cash reporting is just the difference between what's happening while you're selling the business and what needs to happen to sell it successfully at a high number versus when you're not selling it and the things that you're doing to, make the business more profitable so you have less tax liability. So as we're talking about cash reporting and not cash reporting, legally it's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to report everything with the business. Now the reality is that sometimes there's stuff off books that happens and, maybe it doesn't get logged, right? Like let's, use a coffee shop, somebody comes in, they buy a $2 cup of coffee, they use cash, maybe it doesn't get reported. Now, where that does become an issue, and unfortunately, there's some businesses who are just not able to work with if there's stuff not logged. As business brokers, my reputation is on the line also. I want to work with really good businesses with really highly motivated sellers, and I want to make sure that, we're covered too as we're going through this process. So we are going to go off of tax returns and P&Ls. What gets reported to the IRS, the greater power is what we're going to go off of and base your business valuation on. And that's because that's what buyers are going to look at as well. That's what the banks are going to look at when they're getting the money ready to pay you for your business. So what's on the tax returns is kind of the, place we're going to start with. And there's really not too much we can do outside of what's on those numbers there. Now, where we come in is we're able to talk to buyers and lenders about where different things might be bucketed if it's not clearly shown, like maybe something is put under a different line item in your P&L or tax return. But the fact of the matter is that we are just unable to, for the most part, successfully, navigate massive cash, that hasn't been reported. So, it's a little bit of a tough conversation with folks sometimes because the reality is that it just makes the business unsellable in a lot of cases. That accounts for a huge majority of it. So sellers come to us at a couple different points, right? Maybe two different points. The first one being that they're ready to sell now. So that means we're going back and looking at the previous years, and there's not too much we can do because it's already been reported. The other scenario is if people are, hopefully doing a little bit of pre-planning and maybe they're a couple of years out from selling, that's where we can kind of start to do our analysis with them and start talking to them about a little bit right? Start talking to you a little bit about, how this needs to look to get a better number for when you do go to market in, let's call it 2 to 3 years. So just to quickly recap here, when you're selling your business, it's really important to show everything and to be super honest with a broker, the buyer, about what's going on because they're not trying to point fingers or say you did this wrong, but they just want to understand it so they can give you a better number. And when you're not selling your business, that might be a better situation to where you want to limit your tax liability as much as possible. My personal advice: follow the law, book everything, don't break the law. But as we're going through the process with folks, we're going to help you be able to show what's actually going on in the business to buyers. So thanks so much. Happy to answer any questions on it. I'm in the Massachusetts market, but always happy to talk to anybody, buyers or sellers. Thanks so much.